To tell us more about SmartSafe, we are joined by Blums Pineda, Senior Vice President and Head of the Enterprise Business Group at Smart. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Thank you, Gretchen. Thanks for having us.
Okay, first of all, I want to talk about this topic in a way that the normal person can understand, a normal consumer, because we do use digital pervades our lives nowadays with online shopping, with digital banking. We're always on our phones, right? So, importante na maintindihan ito, no? Una-una, no, what is SmartSafe?
Yes. So, SmartSafe basically is a technology that we're offering to provide to app makers out there. So, whether it be your favorite online banking app or a Grab or even on social media like TikTok. But basically, we offer it so that that app provider, the user of that app, can authenticate more to our network. We can prove that you are who you say you are in a more seamless manner with a better user experience. Because right now it's quite complicated. You have to get OTPs. It can get intercepted. Sometimes the SMS or the OTP maybe is delayed in coming to you.
So could this get rid of OTP usage?
Yes. Yes. So for example, what will happen is that instead of you requiring an OTP to be sent to you, it'll pick up things that your phone and the network that you're on, they interact. So for example, I can probably say that if, for example, you've had your SIM in a phone for the last 2 years.
You can detect that.
We can detect that. We know that, right? Because it's always your device and the SIM latched onto our network. So we probably say, if you're trying to log on to Grab, let's say, this is probably Gretchen, right? So we don't need to send you an OTP even though the app is sort of requesting for one. We'll just, in the background, say that this is very likely Gretchen. It's the same SIM in the same phone, right? And therefore, that becomes a much more seamless experience for you.
Pero kailangan din ng Face ID scan yun.
So it will still work with, for example, the Face ID. But diba, sometimes, even with the Face ID, it will ask every so often for your OTP.
Yeah.
To re-log on, right? So that will replace that and make it a bit more seamless.
What kind of data does it need to be able to back that kind of security up?
So it happens in the background. You really don't need to do it, but it picks up on certain things. For example, like so for example, right now with your phone, it can detect that you're in the Philippines, right? So for example, if we were getting a credit card use from a location abroad, but you're here, it can flag things like that.
Okay.
Right. So that's one of the
automatic
things. Automatic. Because of just the nature of your phone always interacting with our network when it's on, right? And it can also detect things like, hey, it's been, a year and 17 months, Gretchen hasn't upgraded to the iPhone 17 yet, so you're still on, sort of the previous phone. But like you've never taken out that SIM, right? It's probably your device. We see you using it.
So that data is within my phone?
It's within your phone and the network.
Kapag hindi ko tinatanggal?
Yes, yeah. And we pick that up. Like, for example, we basically, the way that you can log on to, in our case, a smart network, it can pick up that, this number is registered to you, pay your bill on time, etc. And you've been on our network for this long. It can detect things like, when you're traveling abroad and you're roaming, it can flag that as well. So there are certain background information that we want to make available to your favorite app users so they can design a more seamless security or authentication experience for you or even other things.
But what if manakaw lang yung phone ko? Simple as that.
Yeah. So for example, if it gets stolen, it will still rely on things like the face verification and the biometrics for it to log on to the phone. So it works hand in hand.
Okay.
It doesn't completely replace.
Okay. It is a holiday season.
Yes.
That busy time for online shopping and digital banking.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's also peak season for scams. What kind of scams abound nowadays?
Yes.
It's always evolving,
yes,
right?
Yes. So it's still, a lot of it is still things like phishing, still, malicious actors there pretending to be sites, pretending to be your favorite bank, pretending to be a relative, etc. All of these get rich
So lagi
schemes.
through a link.
It's always through, yeah. It's always like they're always trying to do a link. And of course, now with AI, they're much more prolific at generating all of these different things. So I think given that, what we're also doing on our side is we're working. And of course, like, DICT, the president, they really focus on in this holiday season, can we do something at a programmatic level to prevent these scams from happening? So, for example, right now, we've worked with a lot of banks so that you shouldn't expect to see a link in any message coming from a bank. Like a lot of banks typically will say that. None at all. So typically,
another thing that's dangerous now is that hackers can seem to use the network of the official network of, for example,
Yes.
the bank that you're dealing with or the telco
Yes.
that's messaging you through the official line.
yes.
So how do you filter?
So so that's another more complicated thing, right? So again, for example, even with those things, if the banks always have rules, we have best practices out there where they will never ask for your personal information, your date of birth, etc. I think there's a lot of education. So for example, we've invested a lot in like a Be Cyber Smart program where it's a nationwide campaign that our public relations team runs around really best practices around staying safe. Because there are a lot of these actors. There are a lot of really creative ways.
So ano ba yun? Para sa mga audience natin,
Yes.
una-una, never click links?
Yeah, never click links, right? Unless it's from a really trusted source.
Oh, what
but in
else?
general, don't. Never share your personal information, right, online. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is a scam, right? So anytime where you go, hey, log on here and 50,000 pesos, right? Always, like, there's always this saying around zero trust. So unless like you can look the person in the eye and really verify that person's that. Like, so for example, if you get a message, call that. If it's a relative, quote unquote, asking for something, make the call. Ask them something that only they would know.
Okay.
Turn the tables a bit, right? So have your alert up.
Especially
right?
if it's digital and you're not seeing the person.
Especially if it's someone
face-to-face.
claiming to be someone and then it's a number you don't recognize. Like, why would they have that? I lost my phone, I'm borrowing someone's phone. Then call the person, try to figure out the voice.
Well, speaking of zero trust, there are, of course, concerns. There will be always concerns about privacy and getting too much information from the user. So how are you also safeguarding against pervading or invading into the personal space of
so
the
there's a lot.
subscriber?
I mean, so for example, that's where data privacy comes in. So for example, there's a lot of trust that consumer subscribers place in their mobile network provider, right? And so with that comes, what do you consent to be shared with who at what time? So we follow a lot of strict rules around that in terms of what we're able to share. So for example, when the SmartSafe gets launched, there will probably be an agreement on the app side where they'll ask you, are you okay for us to ask your network? Right? It'll be in one of the long 10-page thing that you just scroll down and you agree to.
Your terms and conditions.
Yes, exactly. But it's really to get permission so that can we make your experience safer? Can we work with Smart to make your experience safer?
And how can this be experienced? How can SmartSafe be adopted?
So right now we're already working with a lot of the leading apps in the country. So by like Q1 next year, hopefully, they're beginning to build it into their next updates of their apps. Right. So in the next update of the app, it will be SmartSafe enabled in the background, and you will be able to see cases where they don't ask for your OTP anymore, but you'll just see a message that says, we verified through the network that.
Ganun na.
Yes.
So automatic na ito.
Yes, but it will still flag that an authentication process
is happening.
Has happened. Yes.
And
with the network.
Can we also say that we don't wanna participate?
For sure.
in it?
For sure.
Pwede rin.
For sure. You can
That's
opt
also
out
an
of it.
option.
Yes.
Would that require any more effort from us other than accepting?
I think it will be in the same way. In the same way that right now you're given the option on the apps. Do you want to enable Face ID or authentication?
Okay.
It'll say you turn it on or off. So it's same thing here. Do you want in the background, right? Sometimes you'll see they'll ask for two-factor
Yes.
authentication.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
What I keep wondering about, because I'm starting to go into digital banking,
Yes.
and I'm afraid that one day I'd lose my phone,
Yes.
and all of my verification.
The passwords and everything are on your phone.
Yeah,
Yes.
even, di ba, parang how do you access the app itself?
Right.
When you need to access your mobile banking app through this phone, right?
Right.
It only registers one phone.
Right.
What if this gets stolen? Is SmartSafe playing a role in that?
Right. So in that case, for example, during that exact instant, right, when you log on to the app, it will still ask for things like the app password or your Face ID. So if you're not there, someone stole it, they won't be able to open the phone maybe, or even open the app.
But can I access my bank account from another phone?
So it'll depend. It'll depend bank to bank, right? For example, so I think what will happen is that you'll be asked to go to online banking, and maybe you have to report first that the phone has been stolen. You will have to. What typically happens is you will re-download that mobile banking app on your new phone, on your new replaced phone, and then you will go through a new authentication to say this is now my primary device. So in this case, right, it will be yours still same number, but it will be matched. You are now saying it is now matched to a different device. So that new pairing
Yes.
is what now in a SmartSafe app will in a SmartSafe enabled app will say this is the new pairing that represents Gretchen.
But it
Ho.
has to go through the bank, no?
It has to go.
Yung
It
bank
still,
yung
it will
mag-aayos, and you
still
have
go.
to appear.
It will still go through the bank.
Probably.
Yes.
Oo. Kasi marami natatakot doon eh. I mean, when it comes to digital
Yes,
banking,
yes.
who do you talk to, right?
Yes.
Is there
still the bank? You still go. You still have to go
to
to
make
the
the
bank.
call, or is it going to be a chatbot that's talking to you and all those
Yes,
questions?
yes. That's why, for example, I mean,
Gray
the good thing
areas.
naman about the banks is that the very first menu item you typically see is if you've lost your credit card, if you've lost something, like it's the very first thing they ask for, and they're very well trained to do that, so they can make sure that they log off all the devices that are logged onto it. It allows you to, in a way, do a fresh start and authenticate to all of your different apps.
Oo. And dito, I mean, SmartSafe, how will that help in terms of the yung the specific app na yung magde-deal with the decoupling if ever it does get stolen?
Exactly. Because for example, so let's take the reverse, right? So for example, for whatever reason your SIM got cloned or stolen, it got put in a different device. So SmartSafe will now detect that's probably not Gretchen's SIM, right? I need to double check, triple check with her and ask her to enter the personal question, what is your first car, were you born, etc. To really vet that, because it will detect that in the network there is a change. Why are you on a different device from what you've had for the past year and a half? It's just,
and then it will require some authentication.
And it will require some authentication.
To make sure which one is the
exactly
right device.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so SmartSafe primarily deals with location.
So it's location, it's identity. It's like your SIM and your device are paired.
SIM behavior.
Yes. SIM behavior. If you're traveling.
Okay.
But also like location within the country. For example, there will be certain cases where you can use your mobile banking app to withdraw from an ATM. Like in certain countries, meron ng ganon. So it will be able to say, hey, this device says it's near this ATM, but on the network, why, for example, you're in a Mandaluyong ATM, but our network detects you're in Quezon City. It'll probably say, I won't allow that withdrawal. It will tell the app of your bank, right? Suspicious, do a second check or a triple check.
Is there a danger naman of this being too safe?
Yes, no. So that's exactly.
Parang hindi ka na makapasok
so that's,
sa account mo pag makakalimutin ka.
This one is definitely much more additive. It's that extra layer. So think about like two-factor authentication. It's that added layer of security that you get. But the primary is still you and your biometrics.
So walang masyadong magbabago.
Wala masyado, yes.
It's just
yes.
na
In the
para
background.
kumbaga taking out the taking out the obvious details, which is yung sa location,
Yes.
kapag nandito ka, pero sa iba yung nag-access, yung mga ganon.
Flagging those extreme
okay,
things.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. How do you, at PLDT Enterprise, envision the future of digital security and safety?
Yeah.
For one, you've already mentioned doing away
Yes.
without OTPs. But have you somehow mapped out the future of where everything is going to go with everything going online?
I mean, of course, we work very closely with, for example, the ICT in terms of what are nationwide programs around not only educating the Filipinos, but also making sure that programmatically we have best practices around what type of messages are banks and your favorite players allowed to send out versus not. I think that's number one. Number two is we want to take full advantage of what's available on our network so that all of the app developers, all of the app providers, right, your favorite utilities that you use every day can't live without. They can take advantage of the best in terms of either convenience or security or authentication to make that experience much more safe, much more convenient, but also very seamless, right? Not too difficult as you mentioned. So that's all sort of happening in the background. We just want to make what's available on the network available to it so that the Filipino can benefit.
Is this an AI application?
It is, I mean, there's AI that happens in terms of, I guess, the checking of, like millions of devices, right?
And data.
Data, right?
Gathering.
Yes. But I think it's really more, the AI is really more analyzing under what events should we flag certain things, right? So, for example, parang, what are the chances that if it's a different SIM to device, right? That it's likely we need to do a check. So I think that it's really analyzing that data to figure out what's a good feature to recommend versus not.
What's next for SmartSafe?
So I think with SmartSafe, I think we're starting with the silent access, where instead of an OTP, there's richer authentication in the background. But I think it's really more the location, maybe some KYC. In certain cases, we can maybe, if you allow us again, pick your billing address that you've registered and have that auto-populate to things you're applying for, like enrolling an app, enrolling a thing. But again, with you opting in. But at least, right, to that new app or that new utility or that new club you're joining, they know that, hey, this is a verified address because a postpaid bill goes to here, right? So I think there are things like that we're playing with. And again, the location stuff is
It's
there
always
as well.
a balance, right? How much do you allow
Yes.
these apps to also work in the background for the sake of security and also convenience?
Yes.
Right? It's something that the digital citizens need to figure out for themselves. But how do you make sure that the data that you keep is
So the subscriber is always in control of their data. That's like principle number one. So for example, they have to give their consent to the app that's wanting to use the data. They're having to give consent every other time that it's sort of requested and used, and they have to update that. Like 6 months later, do you still want to continue? Right. So I think there's things like that we're building into the process as well.
building trust
Yes,
with
exactly,
the consumers.
exactly.
Okay, so for next year, what will be the first rollout?
We're working with a couple of your favorite apps, like the ones that you would expect
Hindi ko
already.
pwede magsabi.
we wala pa eh. Pero it will be one of our biggest banks. It will be a couple of our biggest wallets. We're hoping to have your favorite e-travel app also potentially on board. So a couple that are in the works.
Oh, exciting, an exciting but also safe,
Yes.
secure future, hopefully,
Yes.
under
Yes,
SmartSafe.
yes.
Maraming salamat for your
Thank
time
you,
today.
Gretchen. Yeah, appreciate the time.
Good news before the year ends that we're finding solutions
Yes.
to the problems at hand. We have Blums Pineda, Senior Vice President and Head of the Enterprise Business Group at Smart. They have a new API suite app called SmartSafe.
Yes. Thank you.